Hijab, faith and freedom. Why head covering exists in many religions, and why forcing it can push people away. What if? The problem is not the hijab itself, but the way people speak about religion. Many people today believe that hijab belongs only to Islam. But history tells a very different story. For thousands of years, women in many religions covered their heads as a symbol of modesty, spirituality, dignity, and religious identity. This existed in Islam, Christianity, Judaism, and even ancient traditional cultures. The truth is, head covering was never unique to Muslims alone. Head covering in Christianity. In the Bible, women were instructed to cover their heads during worship. One of the clearest verses is found in 1 Corinthians 11, 5-6. But every woman who prays or prophesies with her head uncovered dishonors her head. And another verse says, for if a woman does not cover her head, she might as well have her hair cut off. This shows that covering the head was considered important among early Christians. Even today, some Christian women still cover their heads inside churches, especially Orthodox Christians, Catholic nuns, traditional Christian communities. Head covering in Judaism. In traditional Judaism, married women often cover their hair as a sign of modesty and respect. Some Jewish women wear scarves, hats, or wigs called sheitel. Religious teachings considered covering the hair an important part of modest behavior. Even today, this practice exists among Orthodox Jews, Hasidic Jewish communities. Hijab in Islam. In Islam, hijab and modest clothing are mentioned in the Quran. Quran, Surah An-Nur, 24:31. And tell the believing women to lower their gaze and guard their chastity and not display their beauty except what is apparent. And another verse, Surah Al-Ahzab, 33:59. O Prophet, tell your wives, your daughters, and the believing women to draw their outer garments over themselves. For many Muslims, hijab represents worship, modesty, privacy, and spiritual identity. But here is the difficult question. If head covering existed in many religions, why do people today treat it as if it belongs only to Islam? And another even deeper question. Should faith come through force, or through understanding and conviction? Because history teaches us something very important. Real spirituality cannot grow through fear alone. Many girls today are not rejecting God, and not rejecting modesty. They are rejecting pressure. Some girls wear hijab while emotionally exhausted, not because they hate religion, but because they feel trapped between family pressure, society, judgment, fear, and constant criticism. Sometimes a girl looks in the mirror and no longer recognizes herself. She feels, people changed after I wore it. I can't breathe. I'm constantly judged. I'm afraid of making mistakes. And slowly, hijab changes from a spiritual connection with God into emotional pressure. That is where the danger begins. Because anything forced aggressively onto the human soul can sometimes create the opposite reaction. Humans naturally resist pressure, and this is something many people fail to understand. Religion was never meant to feel like a prison. God did not create humans only to terrify them every second of their lives. Yes, religion has rules. Yes, hijab is important in Islam. But how do we guide people toward faith? Through screaming, through humiliation, through fear, through attacking every girl who struggles? Or through patience, wisdom, mercy, understanding, and kindness? Some girls need time. Some girls need emotional support. Some girls need someone to explain that hijab does not mean losing beauty, losing identity, or losing happiness. A woman can still be elegant, successful, confident, feminine, and emotionally comfortable while wearing hijab. And sometimes, the journey toward faith happens slowly. Even prayer, fasting, and spirituality grow gradually inside many people. But when religion is presented only as fear, anger, punishment, and pressure, some people begin walking away completely. Not because they hate God, but because they became afraid of religion itself. And this is a painful reality that many people are afraid to discuss honestly. The Prophet was known for gentleness, wisdom, and mercy. People entered Islam through kindness before fear. The goal should never be, how do we force people? The real question should be, how do we help people love goodness willingly? Because real faith is not something placed only on the head. It is something that slowly enters the heart and changes the human being from the inside.